Welcome friends. In this C language tutorial, we will go through an introduction to C language. The C language. It is currently the most used language for embedded systems. It is a high-level assembly language. C is very portable and compiler exists for virtually every processor. C is very easy to understand and easy to compile. C produces efficient code. It is fairly concise. Now let's go to the history of C language. It was developed between 1969 and 1973 along with Unix. It was developed by Dennis Ritchie. It was designed for systems programming like operating systems, utility programs, compilers, and filters. It was evolved from B, which was developed from BCPL. Now let's go ahead and have a quick look at a Hello World program in C. This is a valid and very small Hello World program written in C language. First, let's go to the preprocessor. Hash include stdio.h means standard IO.header is a preprocessor used to share information among source files. That means a very abstract and popular code is written in stdio.h file, and we can share those codes among various source files. So if we include some header file, we are simply borrowing code from that particular file. Program mostly a collection of function. Here main function is a special entry point because the C compiler knows that we have to start executing the program from the main function. Void is the qualifier which indicates the function does not return anything. Printf is a library function which is not included in the C program, but it was defined in the stdio. It performs the IO operation. Now let's go to the pieces of C. Types and variables, which means definitions of data in memory. Expressions, which are very important. There are arithmetic expressions, logical expressions, assignment in infix notation. We will go through each and every part of this in this tutorial series. Statements. There are sequence of conditional, iteration and branching instructions. Functions. Functions are group of statements and variables invoked recursively. As we have seen the main function, you will now have an idea what a function can do for us. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will learn about data types in C language. Data types in C. Let us go through the types and their description. First, is basic types. They are arithmetic types, consists of two types, integer and floating types. Second is enumerated types. They are again arithmetic types and they are used to define variables that can only be assigned in certain discrete integer values throughout the program. Third is the void type. This type specifier void indicates that no value is available. As we have seen in the previous tutorial, there was a main function and it was returning nothing, so we have a specifier void. Fourth is derived types. They include pointer types, array types, structure types, union types, and function types. Let's go to some basic types. Character. Its size is 1 byte and it contains the value range of -128 to 127 or 0 to 255. Unsigned character. Its storage size is 1 byte and its value range is 0 to 255. Signed character, which is a storage size of 1 byte and it holds -128 to 127. The same case with int, which is 2 or 4 bytes, which can hold up to the value range of -32,768 to 32,767. The same with unsigned integer, but its range is 0 to 65,535, or if it was 4 bytes, its range is 0 to 4294,967,295. Short, it's 2 bytes, and if it is signed, then its range is -32,768 to 32,767, and if it is unsigned, then its range is 0 to 65,535, and the same case with long. Now let's go to the floating point data types in C. Float, its storage size is 4 bytes and it holds the given value range and its precision is 6 decimal points. Double, its storage size is 8 byte, which is double than the float with the given value range, and its precision is 15 decimal places. Long double, its storage size is 10 bytes, holds up to the given value range, and its precision is 19 decimal places. So this was the introduction to basic data types in C. From the further tutorials, we will go to the C programming and write some codes. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about variable data types. In our previous tutorial, we have got some theoretical knowledge about data types, their range, and their sizes. In this tutorial, first we will cover which data type is used for which type of variables. Data type and descriptions. Char or character. It is typically a single octet, means 1 byte. This is an integer type. Int. Int is the most natural size of integer for the machine. Float. Float is a single precision floating point value. Double. A double precision floating point value. Void. It represents the absence of type. That means character is used to store characters in memory. Int is used to store integers in memory. Float is used to store a single precision floating point in memory. Same with double. And void represents that there is no data type or no value available. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning how to implement variables in our C program. In our previous tutorials, we have gone through what are data types and how it is used. And in this tutorial, we will be writing to implement variables. Now, we will be doing our C and C++ development with Eclipse. If you don't know how to set up Eclipse, I will recommend you go to the fundamental courses, and from there you can find out tutorials upon Eclipse. We have created one C project here, and in this project we'll be creating one new file which will be a new source file, and let's just name it variable.c. It will create a new C file for us. Now here let us write a program to demonstrate how variable works. I have already written one program, so I will explain you how it works. The stdio.h, as you know, is the preprocessor which includes this header. Our method main, this time we have kept its return type as int. So here is how we can declare a variable in C. First, the data type, which is int, and then a comma separated list of the variables. In this case, x and y. Int z, that means the variable, its name is z, or the identifier of that variable is z, and its data type is integer. Here we have declared one more variable which data type is float and its name is f. So this is how we can declare variables in C. Now let's see the initialization of that variable. X equals 5. This will store value 5 in X, or we can say in other words, X is assigned a value 5. In the same way, Y is equal to 10. Now Z is equal to X plus Y. This is an arithmetic operation, and we will learn about arithmetic operations in our further tutorials. Then printf. Printf is a function or a method which is used to print a set of characters on the console window. So it says the value of Z is %d. Now %d is for any integer and this first %d represents the first variable which is given after the comma. So it prints this variable's value instead of this %d. Then we have set f is equal to 100.0 divided by 3.0. Again the printf, and it says the value of f and %f. %f is used to print floating points. So it will print this f here, and this /n means new line. Return 0 returns 0, which is an integer, and this is how our variable.c program works. The summary of this program is how to declare variables and how to initialize them. Now let's build this program and run it. For that, we'll click on this button. It will ask us that variable.c has been modified. Save changes. Yes. And as you can see, the value of z is 15 because 5 plus 10 is 15, which is here. And the value of f is 3.3333332. This was it for this variables tutorial. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this C programming tutorial, we will be learning about operators. What are operators? An operator is a symbol that tells the compiler to perform specific mathematical or logical manipulations. If you don't get the idea about the operator from its definition, don't worry. We will look some examples in C program that you'll get exactly what is operator. For now, we'll go ahead and look at some types of operators in C language. Arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, assignment operators, and some miscellaneous operators. So let's go ahead and have a deep look at these operators. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be illustrating operators. We are into Eclipse IDE for C and C++. Under our project work, we are creating a new file, let's say a C source file. We name it operators.c. Click finish and it will create a source file for us. Now I'll be writing and explaining code that will teach you what are operators in C and how to use them in your C program. First, we will include some standard library for input output. Then now we will define three integer variables a, b and c. If you write a is equal to 10 semicolon, that will assign the value 10 to our variable a. Now c is equal to a plus b. Here plus is an arithmetic operator which sum up the given two values. A is having a value of 10 and B is having a value of 5. So it will sum up both of that values and turns out to be 15. And that value 15 is then assigned to C. Now let's just print the value of C. The value of C is equal to %D. The value of C is equal to %D because C is a integer variable and returns 0. Let's run this. It will build our program first, and as you can see, the value of C is equal to 15. If we want to subtract B from A, we'll simply use minus or this negation arithmetic operator. Let's run it. It says it has been modified, save changes. We'll click on yes. And as you can see, the value of C is equal to 5 because it takes 10 minus 5. It turns out to be 5 and then it assigns that 5 to C. So this is how operators works in C. There are more types of operators like relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, and miscellaneous operators. It is not possible to illustrate all these operators without having the full knowledge of C language. So, in this case, we will be learning about these operators as we follow along with our tutorial series in C development. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about conditional statements. Here, we'll start with if-else statement. But first, we have to clear our project and delete this operators file. For that, right-click upon that file and select delete. OK. Go to project and let's clean our project. Let's clear the console and we are good to go. Now, conditional statements are very important when you have to decide whether to follow. We are into our work project. Create a new C source file and we will name it condition.c. We'll create a new file for us, and now I'm writing the code and explaining you. As you can see, we have borrowed some code from our previous example where we have two variables a and b and their values are 10 and 5 respectively. Now let's go ahead and write an if statement, which is if inside this bracket we have to give the condition which we want to check. So let me write down a greater than b. Here greater than is a relational operator. So this statement will check whether a is greater than b or not. And if it returns true, then our program will execute this set of statements. Let's simply put a print over here and say a is greater than b. If the condition is false, then it will not execute this path. So Let's save our file and run it. Because 10 is greater than 5, therefore A is greater than B, and so that our program executes this statement which prints A is greater than B. But if we slightly change our program and make the value of B is equal to 50, we save it and run it again, it prints nothing because this block of code is not being executed. This is how if statement works in C. Now let's go ahead and have a look at else. When we use if and else together, it gives us the opportunity to execute a specific block of statements if the condition is false. Let's say in this case B is greater than A. Let's save it and run this program. It says B is greater than A. Why? Because in the else block we have this B is greater than A statement, and because our condition was false, it executes the else block. This is how we can work with if-else statements and make decisions in our program. That's it for this conditional statements tutorial. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about switch conditional statement. Switch is a statement that allows a variable to be tested over a list of values. In this tutorial, we will be going through the switch statement and I will explain you how it works and how can you use that in your program. I have already written the code, so let's just open that. It's a very simple program which have included standard io.h. There is just one main method. Here we have a character grade and I have assigned its value A. Then we are printing your result is. Then this is our switch statement. Now in the switch bracket you have to write the expression. Here we are given grade, and then every option or every value from our list has to be represented as a case. So case A, printf, very good, and break. This means if this grade matches this case, it will execute this statement or this block of statements, and then it breaks. Second is case B. So if the grade is B, it will print good and then break. That means if any of the case matches with the expression, it executes the block of code. In the end, we have our default, which prints average. Now let's run this program. And as you can see, it shows your result is good. It's very good. Now it is very good because our grade was A, and so it has executed this line of code. Let's change our grade to C and run our program again. It asks for save changes, press yes, and it says your result is poor. Now it says your result is poor because our grade was C and this case C is matched. If we type D and run our program, it should be matching with the grade with this D, and so this block of statement should execute, and it should be your result is bad. Let's execute. Exactly. So if this expression matches with any of this case, it executes the block of statement false along with that case. If our expression is not being matched with any of this case, it will look for default. Let's say our grade is Z, we save the file, so it is not matching with any of these cases. Let's run this. It says your result is average because it executed this block of statement. If expression is not matching with any case, it will look for default. So this is how switch statement works in C. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about for loop in C programming language. For loop allows us to execute a loop from a specific initialization to a specific end. I have already written code for loop. Let me show you. This is our for loop code, which is very basic and easy. There is just one standard input output and a main function. Here you can see the for keyword. In the first block, we have initialized a variable, and in for loop, this part is called initialization, where our loop initialize. Second block is the condition. It dictates until when the loop will execute. And the third block represents the increment or decrement. That means the change in the variables during the loop. Inside the curly brackets are the block of statements which is to be executed along with this loop. Here we have printf, the value of x is equal to %t new line. That means it will print the value of x. So each time the loop executes, our console window will be having one statement and a new value of x. Let's take a look here. X is being initialized at 0, and at every execution its value will be increased by 1, and it will be done recursively until x is less than 5. So let's run this program. You can see x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. That means our loop is being executed 5 times, starting from 0. Then it prints the value of x is equal to 0. Its value is increased by 1 and it prints the value of x is equal to 0. The same thing happens recursively until the x is equal to 5. When this time the value of x is equal to 4, and after that its value will be increased by 1, and so this condition will be false and our loop will break. This is how the for loop works in C programming language. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about while loop. While loop is also very popular looping statement in C programming language. So I have already written the code of while loop, and I will show you and teach you how you can use while loop in your program. We are running on Eclipse IDE for C and C++ development. This is our while loop code where we have stdio.h included, main function. We have initialized one integer x and its value is 1, and this is our while keyword. In the expression, we have to give the checking expression, so it will check for that expression. If this expression is true, then the loop will execute, and if the statement or the expression is false, the loop will break. It is as simple as that. So we are checking x is less than 7. So while x is less than 7, this loop will execute. And inside our statements, we have printf, the value of x is equal to x. That means it will print the value of x. And then we have one post increment operator, which is a special type of operator that increases the value of the integer by 1. That means it is similar to x is equal to x plus 1. So it is printing the value of x and then increasing its value by 1. Then it will be checking this expression again. So if this is true, then it will execute the loop and check for this statement. So this is how our while loop works. Let's run it. It asks for the changes and we will save it. And as you can see, the value of x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. After printing 6, it has increased the value of x by 1. That means x is equal to 7 here. And then while it checks this expression, it is false because x is equal to 7 and is not less than 7. So it becomes false and the loop breaks. This is how the while loop works in C programming language. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about array. Array is a fixed size sequential collection of data. I have written a code that is illustrating array in C programming language. Let me show you and explain you how you can use arrays into your C programs. This is my array.c file and here it is.
It is very simple and most of the code is borrowed from the previous examples. We have standard input-output header and the main function. Here, this is the initialization of our array. Int x, and in square bracket we are giving the size of array, and this array x is holding integer values in it. So its size is 5. That means it can store 5 different values in it, which we can access by the indexes. For illustration purpose, I have assigned 2 more variables, integer I is equal to 0 and integer j. We have a while loop. While I is less than 5, xi is equal to 10 plus I. That means the ith element of x will be set I plus 10, and we are increasing I by 1 using a post increment variable. So this is our while loop, and I will explain this loop when we will see the program. After that, we have a for loop in which we are using this j integer. J is equal to 0 and its limit is up to 5, and each time the loop runs we are increasing the value of j by 1, and we are printing element %d is equal to %d. Means the jth element of our x array is the value. Now let's run this program, and here is the output. Let me explain you how this worked. The first time the loop runs, we have I is equal to 0. So the 0th element of our x array is set to 10 plus 0 is equal to 10. So the 0th element 0 is equal to 10, which is being printed because of this for loop. Element %d, here d is for this j, which is 0, and the value is j of x. Now when the second time loop runs, I is equal to 1, so x1 is equal to 10 plus 1. That means x1 is equal to 11. Here it is. And the same way it is assigning the values, and in this for loop it is printing the value. So this is how arrays are assigned, and this is the demonstration of arrays in C programming language. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial we will be learning about string. String is a one-dimensional array of characters. It holds text messages, and it is best to convey textual information. It holds an array of characters which together can make a textual sentence. And to terminate string, we use a null character. So we can identify the termination of the given string by the null character. To illustrate strings in C programming language, I have written one program which is string.c, and here it is. It is again very simple program. We have standard IO dot header. We have our main function, and here we have our character array of length 7. And as you can note, string string is having 6 characters, and as I said earlier, the 7th character is reserved for the null character which terminates this array. We are just printing this string. So this str is a character array or our string, and we just want to print it. So we have used printf. This is example of, and to represent strings we have %s, which is this str, which is a character array or string, and that is it. Let's run our program, and as you can see, this is example of string, and here it is. Instead of doing it this way, we can do this using our conventional array style. As you can see, we have represented our string in our conventional one-dimensional array style, and as I have said earlier, we have to terminate our string by this null character. So it is a character array of 7 characters followed by this null, which together creates a string. Let's run it, and we should be having the same answer. As you can see, the output is same. This is how string works in C programming language. Note that to represent strings, there is a string.h file, which is a header file containing useful string functions. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this tutorial, we will be learning about functions in C programming language. Function is a set of statements that performs a specific task. In C, functions are very useful, and every C programs run at least one function. As we have seen in our earlier videos, we use our main function in each and every program because the C runtime knows that the entry point of our program is the main function. I have written one code that illustrates the functions in C program. I will explain you how to use functions in your C program. This is our functions.c file, and here it is. We have our standard io.h. This is a function declaration. First, we have to specify the return type of our function, which is integer in this case. Then the identifier or the name of the function, which is maximum in this case. Then in brackets, we have to give parameters and their data types, integer x and integer y. These are two parameters for our maximum function. This is the declaration of our function. Now, let's come to our main function, from where the execution of our program will begin. We have defined an integer I and assign a value of 100 to it. We have defined and assigned 200 to an integer j, and we have defined one more variable m as integer. Now m is equal to maximum I and j. If you remember from our function declaration, this maximum function is taking two parameters. Both of them must be integer. So here we have our first integer I, which is 100, and second integer j, which is 200, and m is the return value of this function. So by passing these parameters, whatever value this function returns will be assigned to m. Printf, the maximum value is equal to %d, which is m. Now, as we know that m is an integer and returns 0. Now let's go ahead and look at the body of our function. We will cover this in our next tutorial. Welcome friends. We are continuing from our previous tutorial about functions in C programming language. Now we will take a look at the body of our function. As we have declared above, the return type is integer, then the function name, which is maximum, and two parameters, their data types. They are integer x and integer y. In our function, we are defining one integer variable, which is int result, and we have a conditional statement if x, which is the first argument, is greater than y, which is the second argument. Result is equal to x. That means if x is greater than y, it will return x. Else, result is equal to y. And if x is not equal to y, result will be equal to y and return result. So it will return this result integer. That means this function can find out the maximum out of given two integers. Let's go ahead and run our program. As we can see, the maximum value is 200. So this is the declaration of our function, this is the body of our function, and this is the call to our function. We are calling it with 100 and 200, and it is returning us 200. So 200 is assigned to this m, and we are printing the result. If we change this 100 to 1000, save it and run the program, it will return us 1000. We haven't changed the function, we haven't changed the call. We just changed the value, and it confirms that the function works perfect. So this is how functions works in C programming language. There are numerous functions in standard C library that we can call in our programs. Thank you.
Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will be learning about pointers. Pointer is a one type of variable which stores address of another variable. Pointer are also used for dynamic memory allocations, and pointer is used to direct memory access. Till now, you learn about lots of various interactive features of C language. You know about main and header files and how to write program in the main function. Now let's see how to declare pointer type variable. You can declare pointer of any type of data type. Means you can make pointer variable of any type. In this particular example, I will show how to declare and use pointer of integer type. So to declare the pointer type variable of integer, first write int, which is the integer data type, space variable name, which is here p, and to make that variable as pointer type, prefix star or asterisk sign before that variable. This is the declaration of pointer type variable. At the same time, you can also declare other variable of normal type using comma. Now I have also declared one b variable and 10 is assigned to that b variable. Now I want to store the address of b in this p pointer type variable. To access the address of any variable, we have to use ampersand sign. So I have written this line, p is equal to ampersand b, means p is equal to address of b. Ampersand sign is used to access the address of any particular variable. So this line will retrieve the address of b and it will store address into p pointer type variable. Now I want to show the address of b onto the screen. I have written printf address of b is %u from p. %u is used to demonstrate the pointer variable. When we want to show integer, we are writing %d, or at a time of demonstrating or displaying string, we are writing %s. Likewise, to show the pointer variable, we are writing %u and here pointer variable to show. So this is the complete program of accessing the address of variable and storing it into the pointer variable. Now let's run and see the output. We can see in the output address of b is 2293568. So this way we can access the address of variable. This is the address where b is stored onto the memory. So this is the example of pointers. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will be learning about how to take input from the user. Till now, we are using value which is assigned by the program. We are not accepting any input from the user or from the screen. In this video tutorial, we will see how to take input from the console and how to manipulate that input into our program. So this video tutorial is about taking input from the user and displaying output based on that input. I have created one program in which we are accepting input from the user. I have declared one variable a of integer type. Now I am printing one message that enter value of a, and on line 8 I have used one function which is scanf. Scanf function is used to take input from the console. scanf function takes input of particular type and it stores that input or value onto particular variable's memory. Means if I want to retrieve the value of integer type, then I have to write scanf %d because we are retrieving value of integer type. I have to write this %d in double quote, comma, address of A. Here we have to write at which address we want to store this input. I want to store this input into A variable, so I am writing address of A means %A. This is the syntax of scanf function. Now this line will take input from the user and it will store it into the variable A. Now you know how to display the value of variable onto the screen. In line number 10, I have written printf function and I am displaying value of A onto the screen. Value of A entered by u is %d because our A variable is of integer type and from A. So this is how we can accept input from the user and display output to the user. In between these two statements, we can utilize this variable by performing various operations onto this variable or utilizing this input in our complex programs. So let's run the program and see how it works. Console is demanding for value of A. Now I am entering value of A to 85 and pressing enter onto the keyboard. And it is displaying value of A entered by u is 85. So this is the use of scanf function to take input from the user. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will be learning about conditional operator. The conditional operator is also known as ternary operator. It is called ternary operator because it takes 3 arguments. The conditional operator evaluates an expression returning a value if that expression is true and different one if the expression is evaluated a false. So in this program we will see how to use this conditional operator. So I have written one program in which I have declared variables and used conditional operator to find the minimum value among these two variables. So let's see how this works. I have declared 3 variables. One is A and I have assigned 10 to that A. I have also declared B and assigned 11 value to B, and I have declared one C variable. Now this is the syntax of conditional operator. Conditional operator always returns a value. It takes 3 arguments. First argument is the condition. Here I have given condition which is A less than B. Now if this condition evaluates true, then part after this question mark will be evaluated, means it will return value A. And if this condition becomes false, then part after this colon will be executed, which will return B in this case. So this return value will be stored in this C. So this is the syntax of conditional operator. First part is the condition, after that question mark, value which will return if condition becomes false, colon, and after expression which will evaluate if condition becomes false. Now I am printing this C, which is the minimum value among these two variables, onto the screen by simple printf statement. So this is the use of conditional operator. If we are using if statement, then code will be 3 or 4 lines, but to find the minimum value we are doing this in only one line. So this is the benefit of conditional operator. Let's run this program and see the output. In the output we can see minimum value is 10. A have 10 value and B have 11, means A is written by the conditional operator and it is displayed onto the screen. So this is about conditional operator. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will be learning about multidimensional array. Multidimensional array is an array of array. Simplest form of multidimensional array is two-dimensional array. Using multidimensional array, we can create virtual table like structure. So let's see how we can declare multidimensional array. A two-dimensional array is in essence a list of one-dimensional array. To declare a two-dimensional integer array of size x and y, you would write something as follows. Like you have to write type, which is the type of array. After that, array name. As per your need, you can write your array name here, and then in square bracket size of first dimension, and in second square bracket size of second dimensional, where type can be any valid C data type and array name will be valid C identifier. First square bracket in the two-dimensional array is row and second is the column. Now let's see how to store the elements in two-dimensional array. A two-dimensional array can be think as a table which will have x number of rows and y number of columns. A two-dimensional array A which contains 3 rows and 4 columns as shown in below. Now column 0 have value 0 in second square bracket, and in row 0 all row contains 0 value in first square bracket, means first square bracket can be used to indicate the row and second square bracket can be used to indicate column. Thus every element in array A is identified by an element name of the form of I, J, where A is the name of the array and I and J are the subscript that uniquely identify each element in A. Now let's see how to initialize two-dimensional array. Here we have created one array of 3 row and 4 columns. Now I want to initialize row 0 and I want to put value into this table. So in the first row, first column, I am giving value 0. First row and second column it is 1, in third column it is 2, and in fourth column it is 3. We have to start curly bracket, and then in that curly bracket we have to again start one more curly bracket, and we have to pass the column values. Now to initialize the second row, we have to complete that curly braces and we have to start new curly braces, and we have to put various column value in this curly bracket. So we have done 3 times because we have 3 rows available. So this way we can initialize the array. We can also initialize array by looping technique. In next tutorial we will see how to initialize array using loop and how to display content of array element using loop. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will see how to use two-dimensional array and how to show the element of two-dimensional array using for loop techniques. So now we know how to initialize array. In previous tutorial, we have learned how to initialize the two-dimensional array at the time of array declaration. Now in this tutorial, we will print that element which are stored in two-dimensional array using the for loop. I have written one program to do this. So I have declared one array A of 5 rows and 2 columns, and I have stored various elements in this table. For iterating the for loop, I have declared two variables I and j. Now to access the element of two-dimensional array, we need two for loops, and this is the nested for loops. So I have created one for loop which starts from I is equal to 0 to I less than 5. Means this for loop will run for 5 times because the row contained by array is 5. Again, in that for loop, we are writing one more for loop which will access the column of array. So we have started j is equal to 0 and we are running that for loop for 2 times. Means we are putting the condition j less than 2. Now what will happen? At the first iteration of I and j is equal to 0, printf statement will print a of 0 0 is equal to 0. Means element of 0 row and 0 column is 0. J will be incremented by 1 and a of 0 1 is equal to becomes 1 because the column 1 and row 0 element is 1. So this way, once j becomes false, I is incremented and j is initialized by 0 once again, and all the elements of two-dimensional array are get printed. So this way we can access the array element using two for loop and one printf statement. In printf statement, we have write a %d. %d means we are showing index of array first and accessing that value from I and j. To print the actual array element, we are writing here %d and getting that value from a of I and j. So this way we can access the array element. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will be learning about file IO operations in C language. As with any operating system, file handling is a core concept in Linux. Any system programmer would learn it as one of his or her initial programming assignments. The aspect of programming involves system files. Through file handling, one can perform operations like create, modify, delete, etc. on system files. File handling functions fopen. To open a file, you need to use the fopen function, which returns a file pointer. Once you have opened a file, you can use the file pointer to let the compiler perform input and output function on the file. Fopen function prototype is like this. It returns file pointer, function name is fopen, and it accepts two parameters. First parameter is a file name. File name is the name of file, and second parameter is the mode. In which mode we want to open a file. It is defined by the mode parameter. Now let's see how many modes are there for file opening. Fopen modes. If we are giving parameter R to mode parameter, then it is called open for reading, means R is for open for reading. W is equal to open for writing, file need not exist, means there is no need to file to be exist. A open for appending. R plus open for reading and writing, start at beginning. W plus open for reading and writing, overwrite files. A plus open for reading and writing, append if file exists. So these are the various modes in which we can open the file. Now let's see other file IO functions. To close the file, fclose function is used. We have to pass file pointer to this function. Fprintf, when we want to print something into the file, then fprintf function is used. Fgetc, fgetc function is used to retrieve the character from the file. Fputc, when we want to put some characters into the file, then fputc function is used. So these are the various functions related to file IO operation. In next video tutorial, we will see the program of file handling. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will demonstrate a program for file operation. As we have discussed previously, for performing file operation, various functions are used. So we will use that function to perform operation on the file. I have created one program to access the file and for writing the text into that file. So let's understand this program. Now you know about header files and main. What we are doing in this program. First, we have created one pointer of type file. So this is the file pointer. We can create file pointer using the file type. Now I have created one character array of 25 size. I have also created one integer type variable which is index. Now I want to open the file in write mode. If file doesn't exist, then program will create first file and then it will open into the writing mode. So to open the file in writing mode, we have to write fopen file name and mode, which is here W, means writing mode. Fopen returns a file pointer. So we have to store that file pointer into some variable. We are storing that file pointer into fp, which is the file type file pointer variable. Now we are copying some text into this stuff string type variable by string copy function. This function is provided in standard io.h or string.h. Now I want to print the line, which is this is example line, into the our file, which is text lines.txt. For that we are utilizing for loop. I want to print this statement 10 times, so I am iterating this for loop 10 times and I am printing this text using the fprintf function of file handling function. So I have written fprintf, fp is the file pointer. After that %s for string, %d line number, and we are getting that line number from the for loop control variable index. So it will print this is example line number %d into the file and it will print 10 times. After that, to close the file, we are using fclose function and we are passing fp, which is the file pointer, to this function. So this is the complete program to access the file and writing the content into the file. So let's run and see the effect. Console will print nothing because we haven't written any code for displaying the line onto the console. Now go to the path where your program is stored. There will be one file named 10lines.txt. As you can see, this file, which is the .txt file, contains 10 lines which are printed by our program. Let's read one line from our file. This is an example line number 1. So this is how we can use the file and we can perform file operation on that file. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will discuss about structure in C. So what is structure? Structure contains a number of data types grouped together. Structure in C is one of the excellent functionality provided in C. Structure makes C programming language easy and simpler up to certain extent. Structure is most widely used in programming. Structure in C allows multiple data types to be grouped together. Let's suppose you want to store basic information about animal such as age, name, gender and birthplace. There are two approaches that can be followed to do this. Use one array each to store properties of animal as shown in this program. For example, here in first approach we have to create one array for separate property. We have created age array to store 10 animal array information, name for 10 animal name information and likewise other properties. This approach is very tedious as number of characteristics related to animal might increase. So this is not the dynamic approach. Second approach is using structure. Structure in C is declared using the keyword struct. Here we have created one structure of animal. In animal structure we have given certain properties like age, name, gender and birthplace. We don't need to create array of properties. We have to create just structure and we have to put various properties of object into that structure. Now to create structure type variable, we have to use struct keyword, struct type variable and variable name. So this is declaration like simple variable. We can also declare structure type variable immediate after closing the structure definition. So this is about the structure, how to declare structure and how to declare variable of structure type. We will see one program in next tutorial on the structure. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand program of structure. In previous tutorial, we have learned how to declare structure and how to create structure type variable. In this video tutorial, we will see how to access properties of structure and how to give value to that properties. So first, we have created one structure named distance, in which we have two properties. One is feet of integer type and inch of float type. We have created three variables of this distance structure. One is the d1, d2 and sum. Now I want to retrieve that value of distance from user and want to store in the structure type variable. So I have printed first distance and also printed enter feet. I am accepting this feet from user using scanf function. So %d is used for integer, so I have written %d. I want to store this value of feet into d1 variable's feet property. So I have written d1.feet. So it will access the d1 variable and feet property of d1 is set. Likewise, I am setting inch property using d1.inch. Now I want to accept the property values of d2. So I will do that using %d2 dot. So property value of d2 will be set. So this way you can set properties of structure using dot operator. This is the syntax. Structure variable name dot property name and is equal to value. We are currently retrieving value from the scanf, so there is no need of assignment operator. Now I want to perform various mathematical operation on these structure type variable properties. So I want to sum these feet and inches. So I am writing sum dot feet is equal to d1 dot feet and d2 dot feet. So I am summing these two variables feet property. Likewise I am also doing sum of inches. Now if inch is greater than 12, then I want to convert it to the feet. So this is the formula of converting inch into the feet. So I am writing sum dot inch greater than 12. Yes, then plus sum dot feet and sum dot inch is equal to sum dot inch minus 12. Now I want to display these inches and feet on the screen. So I have written printf sum of distance %d. This %d will represent feet. So I am taking this value from sum dot feet, and percentage 1f which will represent inch, which is the float value from sum dot inch. So this is the program of structure. Now let's run and see the output. Console demanding for inputs. Enter feet. I am entering 5. Inches is equal to 12. Second distance feet is equal to 78. Inches is equal to 3. Press enter. We can see sum of distance is 80 feet and 3 inches. So this is the output. So this is how we can use the structure. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will be learning about preprocessor directories. The C preprocessor is not part of the compiler, but is a separate step in the compilation process. In simplistic terms, a C preprocessor is a just text substitution tool, and they instruct compiler to do required preprocessing before actual compilation. We will refer to the C preprocessor as a CPP. All preprocessor commands begin with pound symbol, which is hash. It must be first non-blank character, and for readability, a preprocessor directory should begin with first column. So these are the various rules of defining preprocessor directory. We have already used a preprocessor directory in all our programs, and that preprocessor directory is pound include, which is this. We are including header file using this include preprocessor directories. But in this tutorial we will see one more preprocessor directory, which is define. So now let's define preprocessor directory for defining constants. I want to make one constant in which I will give one value which will be constant throughout the program. So to define the define directory, we have to write hash define. After that, constant name. I want to write size as my constant name and value of that constant. Note that there is no need to write semicolon at the end of preprocessor directory statements. Now let's use this size constant into our program. I want to declare one array of size 20. So I am writing size constant, and CPRE IDE will give suggestion to select that size constant. Now we have created array of size 20 using the constant. We cannot change the value of size throughout the program. So this is read only constant. Now you can build and check there is error or not. There is no error. So this is about preprocessor directory. It is preprocessed before the compilation. So this is all about preprocessor directories in C language. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will study one program from ANSI C Programming Balaguruswamy book. So this program is about converting days to months. So let's see how program works. I have written one program in which I am taking inputs from the user, and that input is a days. So now you know about header files and main function, how to declare variables and taking input from the user. So let's see how this program works. I have declared two variables. One is the month and second is the days. Month will store calculated months from the entered days, and day will store the days entered by user. By printf statement, I am printing enter days. Now to take input from the console, I am writing scanf function and storing the entered days into the days variable by using &days and scanf function. Now to calculate months from the days, we have to write days by 30. Means if entered days are 30 days, then it is called 1 month. So this is the formula for finding the months when days are given. So I have written months is equal to days by 30. Now if entered days are 32, then what to do? We have to also find remaining days. For that we are using modulo operator. Modulo operator give reminders of the division. So I have written days is equal to days modulo 30. It will give reminder of division. Now I want to print this result. So I am writing, so I have written months is equal to %d, days is equal to %d, and I am taking that value from the months and days variable. So let's run and see how program works. Program is demanding for days. I am giving 33, means 1 month and 3 days. So how program gives output? Let's see. Press enter on the keyboard. We can see the output as predicted. Months is equal to 1 and days is equal to 3. So this is the program of converting days to month. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will study one more example from book of ANSI C by E. Balaguruswamy. So in this video tutorial, we will understand use of shorthand assignment operator, and we will see one program to use shorthand assignment operator. So in this program, I have taken two constants and I have defined this constant using preprocessor directories. We can define constant using define directory. Now you know these preprocessor directories. So to define preprocessor directory, first you have to write constant name space value of that constant. I have defined two constants. One is a and second is and I have assigned two different values to each constant. Now let's move to the main function. I have created one variable called a of integer type, and I have assigned value of constant a to that small a variable. So now a contains 2, but it is variable. We can modify the value of a at a runtime, but we cannot change the value of capital A because it is a constant. Now I want to find square of a. Iteratively I want to do this process. So I am first putting condition small a less than n. If the value of small a exceeds value of n which is 100, then program will terminate. If this condition becomes true, then I want to print the value of a. After printing value of a, I want to multiply a into a and storing it into variable a. Means currently value of a is 2, then I want to do a into a means 2 into 2, 4, and assigning that value again to variable small a. Now small a contains value of 4. Again condition will be checked and value of a will be printed, and again this operation will be performed. Now what shorthand assignment will do? Shorthand assignment are operators that allows us to perform various operations using only one operator which is prefixed before assignment operator. Means this shorthand assignment operator will perform operation like this: a is equal to a into a. So by using this shorthand assignment operator, we are saving our coding time. So there is no need to write a into a. We can directly write a into is equal to a. So this is the use of shorthand assignment operator. Now let's run and see the output. As we can see, first 2 is printed, while loop is running, so it will print 4 because 2 into 2 is equal to 4, 4 into 4 is equal to 16, and 16 into 16 exceeds the value of 100. So condition becomes false and loop is terminated. So these are we can use shorthand assignment operator to perform our operation and saving our time. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand one example from book of ANSI C by E. Balagurusamy. This example is about obtaining multiple input from the user using only one scanf function. So let's see how this works and how can we obtain multiple inputs using one scanf function. In this program, I have declared 4 strings, means 4 character arrays, which are word 1, word 2, word 3 and word 4, each of size of 40 characters. Now I am printing enter text, which will ask user to enter strings. Now to take multiple input using only one scanf function, there is a specific syntax. So let's see that syntax. First write scanf statement. In parameter, we want to retrieve 2 strings and we want to store the value of these 2 strings into word 1 and word 2. So first write %s, which is used to point the string type, and we want to also store other string, so write again %s. Now string will be stored on word 1 and word 2. Note that don't write ampersand sign. So this is the syntax for storing and taking multiple inputs from the user using only one scanf function. After that, we are retrieving separate values of different string using scanf function, and at the end we are printing value of various string entered by the user using printf statement word 1 %s, and we are printing that value from the word 1 variable of string type. Similarly, we are printing all other string value. So this is the program. Now let's run and see how it works. Program is asking for entering string. So I am entering first string as Gandhi, second as Nehru, third as Modi, and fourth as Advani, and press enter. We can see word 1 contains Gandhi, word 2 contains Nehru, word 3 contains Modi, and word 4 contains Advani. So these are we can use the scanf statement to retrieve the multiple inputs using only one scanf function. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand one more program from E. Balaguruswamy book. So, this program is about reading character from the console and based on that printing one message. So in this program I have taken one character type variable answer and I have printed, would you like to know my name? After that I have printed again one message, type Y for yes and N for no. Now I am getting input from the user, means I am reading a character, but I am reading character with getChar function, not by using scanf function. So getCharacter function is used to read a one character at a time from the console and it returns a character. So we have to store that character in particular character type variable. So I have stored that character in answer variable. Now using the if else statement, I am printing message based on the input. So if answer is equal to Y, then I am printing my name is BGB, and if answer is not equal to Y, means any other character, then I want to print you are good for nothing. So this program is about reading character from the console. Now let's run this program and see output. As we have seen in program, console is asking for input. Would you like to know my name? Type Y for yes and N for no. I want to know, so I am typing Y and pressing enter. So message is printed, my name is BGB. So this way we can use getCharacter function to input the character from console. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand one program of checking the type of data entered by the user, and this program is from ANSI C book by C. Balaguruswamy. So let's see and understand what program does. I have taken one header file called ctype.h and I have included that header file to our program using include preprocessor directory. After that, to store the input, I have taken one variable of character type character and I am taking input from the user using getCharacter function and storing that input into character variable. After character variable contains value which is inputted by the user, I am checking, or I want to check which type of that value is. It is digit or it is alphanumeric, and based on that I want to show the message that this is the character type input or this is the digit type input. So to check the type of the data entered by user, two special functions are used which is defined in ctype.h. First function name is alpha and it returns true or false, and second function is digit, which is also defined in ctype.h header file. So now let's understand how to check type of data entered by user. I have written if condition. If is alpha function takes one argument of character type. If is alpha character greater than 0, means is alpha function returns 1 if the type of data entered by user is character, else it returns 0. Now if is alpha returns 0, then in else part we are again checking condition. If is digit character greater than 0, means here we are checking that particular character is digit or not. Is digit function will also return 1 if type of data is digit, else it will return 0. So if it returns 1, then we are printing the character is digit, else the character is not alphanumeric. So this is how we can check the type of character or type of data entered by the user. Now let's run program and see what is the result produced by this program. Console is saying that press any key. I am pressing 5, which is digit. So message must be printed. This is the digit. As you can see, console has printed the character is digit. Now let's run again program and check. I am entering character H. So program is printing the character is letter. So we can see how decision making is done. So this is program about type checking. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand one more program of nested if else, which is given in book of ANSYS programming by E. Balaguru Swami. So I have taken 3 float type variable in this program, and this is program about finding the maximum number among 3 numbers. Now using printf and scanf statements, I want to user to enter 3 values which are of float type, and now I am printing largest value is message. After that I want to display the largest number amongst 3 numbers entered by the user. So we can do this using the if else statements, but we have to use if else nested. We can also do this using any other procedure, but in this program we are using nested if else to find maximum number amongst 3 number. So first I am checking if A is greater than B, then again in that true block I am checking A is greater than C. If A is greater than C, then printf A, because if A is greater than B and C, then obviously A is greater than 2 numbers, but if A is not greater than C, then I am printing printf C. So C variable is greater than A and B. In else part I am again checking if C is greater than B, then I am printing printf C, else I am printing printf B. So this is the program, and this is the code to find maximum number amongst 3 numbers. So now let's run the program and check output. Now I am entering values. A is equal to 85, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 98. So largest value is 98, which is C. So this is how we can find the maximum number amongst 3 number using nested if else statements. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand one program from ANSYS programming by E. Balaguru Swami book. In this program, we will create multiplication table using do and do while loop. So we want output like this, in which we want to print multiplication table up to 10. Now let's see how to do this. We have defined 2 constants, colmax and rowmax, means how many columns we want and how many rows we want. Here 10 value are assigned to each constant. Now I have also declared 2 variables, one is the row and column, and one extra variable called y is also declared, which are of integer type. Now I am assigning row is equal to 1 as a starting value of row, because we want multiplication table from 1. For the formatting purpose, I am printing these 2 lines. Now what to do? For the multiplication table to be printed, we have to use looping techniques. We can either use for loop or do while loop. In this particular example, we will use do while loop. Do while loop is an exit control loop which executes at least one time even if condition becomes false. So we have to start do loop first, in which I am assigning column is equal to 1. Now in that do loop, again I am writing one more do loop, which is inner loop. Now I want to multiply row into column. So it will give one number which we will print onto the screen, which is the multiplication of row and column. Printf statement is printing y, which is the multiplication. Now I am incrementing column by value 1. So it will print all the column values. Now at the end we are controlling the loop, means up to how many times we have to iterate this loop. We have to specify that condition at the end of do loop using while keyword. So we are checking here condition column less than or equal to col max, and we are printing /n, means new line character for new line, and incrementing row by 1 value. We have to also specify condition for outer loop. So outer loop will end here, and we are checking condition row is less than or equal to row max. So if this condition doesn't satisfy, then program will come out of the loop and it will print some formatting strings. So this is the complete program for multiplication table. Now let's run and see the output. As we have seen in started, there is a multiplication table, which is the complete multiplication table of up to 10. This program was about multiplication table. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will see one more example from book of ANSI C by Bala Gurusamy. So in this program, we will see use of break statement. Break statement is used in the looping statement to take the control from the for loop. So in this program, we will see the use of break statement. In this program, I have declared 3 variables of float type, which is number, average and sum, and 2 variables of integer type I and n, in which I is used as a looping control variable. Now I am asking for entering the maximum number of input and storing that input into the n variable. I want to user to enter n number of numbers and I will do sum of that numbers. So I have written one for loop in which I am asking for entering the number. For loop will continue I to n times, means 1 to n times. If number is less than 0.0, means if you are entering negative number, then I want to come out from the for loop. So we have to use break statement. Break statement will take away control from the for loop and it will come out from the for loop. If number is not negative, then I will create sum of the number entered by user. After the for loop, I will calculate average of numbers entered by user and I will display that average. So this is the use of break statement to take away control from the for loop or any looping technique if certain condition occurs. Now let's see how program runs. Maximum number of inputs. I am entering 3. Enter number 1, 45 minus 8. So even though I have given maximum number of inputs is equal to 3, when I am entering second number minus, means negative value, loop is not executing anymore and directly average is calculated. Because of we have entered only one number, average is 45. So this is the use of break statement in loops. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will learn one more example from ANSYS C by Bala Gurusamy. So in this program, we will see use of continue statement. Continue statement is used to skip the statement for execution which are in loops. So let's see use of continue statement. In this program, I have created three variables, which is I, number and product. Now I am iterating for loop with this initialization. I have initialized I is equal to 1, product is equal to 1, and I am checking condition I less than or equal to 4, and I am incrementing I by 1 using prefix increment operator. So loop will be executed 4 times. Now I am taking input from the console by printing message enter number %d and scanning that input into the num variable. Now I want to check if number is equal to 0, means number entered by user is 0, then I want to skip the execution of further statements that are in for loop. Means further statements are product of number using shorthand assignment operator. So if number entered by user is 0, then loop will not execute this statement and control of the loop will go to the ++I statement and loop will start execution from the first statement of the loop. Now if number entered by the user is not 0, then this statement will execute and continue statement will not get executed. So this program will do the multiplication of all number, and after the for loop it will print the product of that numbers. So this is the use of continue statement. In this program, when num equals to 0, it skips the statement product into is equal to num and continue the loop. Now let's run the program and see the output. Enter number 1, 5, 6, 0, 8. So product is 240, in which 0 is not included, because if 0 is multiplied by any number, then product of all the numbers will be 0. So this is the use of continue statement. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial, we will understand one program from chapter Array of ANSYS C programming by Bala Gurusamy. So in this program, we have taken one array in which using the for loop we will assign values which are entered by the user, and we will print that value on the screen, and we will also print the sum of that value on the screen using this program. So let's see how to do this. For the loop control, I have taken one variable I. My array is x of 10, which is of float type. One other variable is also taken, which is value and total. Now I am printing message for entering 10 real numbers. By executing for loop 10 times, we will read the 10 real numbers from the user using scanf statement. So in for loop I have written scanf and storing that value into the array on particular index. Index range is 1 to 10 and condition of for loop is I less than 10. Once value in the array is stored, we will compute the total of the element which are stored in the array. So we have taken total is equal to 0 and we are running the for loop between 0 to 10. In this line we are computing total of element which are is in array. So we have applied one formula for calculating total, which is total is equal to total plus x of y. Means we are adding the element of array one by one into the total variable. Now let's print that total onto the screen. First we are printing each array element by using for loop and printf statement, and after that we are printing the total using the printf statement and total variable. So these four statements are printing statements. Now let's run and see. Program is asking for entering 10 real number. I am entering. We can see elements are printed and total of the number is displayed. So this is the program of calculating the total of each element of array. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will understand one example from book of ANSYS Programming E. Bala Guruswamy. So in this program we will take three inputs from the user. One is the amount, second is the interest rate, and third one is the period, and based on that we will calculate interest of that amount. So let's see how to do this. In this program I have declared two integer type variable. One is for storing year and second is for storing period, and also taken three float type variable: amount, in rate, and value. Now let's print one message to enter all three of value: input amount, interest rate, and period. And using the scanf function we want to store that value in particular variable, which is amount, in rate, and period. Initially we are giving year is equal to 1. We want to calculate interest of each year, and amount plus interest of previous year will be calculated. So let's do this using while loop technique. So I am checking condition. If year is less than or equal to period, then calculate interest. So first we will apply the interest formula, which is value is equal to amount plus in rate into amount. Now we will print year and value, which will show amount with interest and year, and we are assigning value, which is the new value, to amount, and we are incremented year by 1. So this is the formula for calculating interest, and terminate the while loop. Note that this is the formula for calculating interest. Value is equal to amount plus in rate into amount. In rate here is the interest rate, and amount is the base amount of which we want to calculate interest. This amount will change in next year. Now let's run and see the output. Input amount, interest rate, and period. I am entering amount to 10,000, interest rate to 0.14, and period to 5 year. So we can see the interest and amount of each year is calculated and printed onto the screen. First year it will be 11,400, second year it will be 12,996. So this way we can use the while loop and combination of formula to calculate interest of any amount. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will understand one program from book of ANSYS C Programming by E. Balaguruswamy. We have created one program which demonstrates the use of functions, and in this program we will calculate interest of amount by using this function which have no return type and no arguments. So let's see how to use this function to calculate interest. At the beginning we have declared two functions which have no return type and no argument, means which have void type. Now one function is the print line and second is the value. Now let's see first print line function. In print line function we have simply iterated one for loop for 35 times to print simple character which is dash. It is just for formatting purpose. So when we call this function it will print dash 35 times, and at the end function will print new line character. Now let's see value function. Value function is our core function, or we can say it is a core functionality function, because in this function we are going to calculate the interest of particular amount which is entered by the user. So let's see how interest is calculated. First we have taken two variables, year and period, and three float type variable, interest rate, sum and principal. Now we are getting input from the user using scanf statement, means first we are demanding principal amount, interest rate and period. Now we are assigning principal value to sum, means sum will be the operational variable on which we will perform interest calculation. We are assigning year is equal to 1 and we are checking that year is less than or equal to period or not. If yes, then calculate interest using sum is equal to sum into 1 plus in rate. This is the formula for calculating interest. Once interest of particular year is calculated, then we will add that interest into amount, means in sum, and we will increment year by 1. At the end of the function we will print all these values. We are printing principal value, interest rate, period of interest and sum, which is the total of interest and amount. Now in main function first we are printing line and then we are calling our main function which is the value, and at the end we are printing lines again. Now let's run and see the output. Now console is demanding for input, so we are entering principal amount, rate and period of 5 years. We can see output is printed, and this is the sum which we have calculated in this program. So this is how we can calculate the interest using function also. So this is the one of the use of function. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will understand one more example from ANSYS C Programming by E. Balaguruswamy. So this program is about structures. You have already studied the structure in previous tutorials. Now in this video tutorial we will create structures and how to access the properties of structure and how to assign values to that properties. So we have created one structure named personal. In personal structure we are storing the various details of person, means we are storing name, day, month, year and salary. Now we are creating struct type variable. Now we are creating personal type variable person. I want to demand the inputs, so I am printing message input values, and using the scanf function we will retrieve the value entered by the user and we will store that value into struct type variable person. Now how to access the personal structures properties? Dot operator is used to access the various properties of structure. So this is the syntax to access the properties of the structure. First write the variable name, which is here person, which we have created earlier, and then the property name which we want to access. Here it is name. Second is the person.day, means day entered by the user is stored in day variable of personal structure. Likewise we are also entering month, year and salary using dot operator. Remember only this syntax: variable name, which is the struct type variable, and dot property which we want to access. So we are taking input from the user of various properties. Now once property is entered, we want to print all the values which are entered by the user using the structure variable access. So we have printed all the type specifier in the double quote, and after that one by one we are printing all the value. First we are printing name by person.name, after that person.day, person.month, person.year and person.salary. So this way we can use dot operator to access the structure properties. Now let's run and see the output. Program is demanding for inputting values. First is the name, so we are entering John. Second is the day 5, month is equal to Jan, and year is equal to 2030, salary is equal to 15,000, and enter. We can see the properties is accessed. So program have printed John 5 Jan 2013 15,000. So this way we can use the structure to manipulate our data and group different types of data type in one variable. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will understand one program from ANSYS Programming E. Balagurusamy. Pointer is used to store the address of any other variable, and it access value by direct memory access. So let's see use of pointer. So we have declared various variable, and using this program we will see on which address these particular variable are stored. So we have declared one character type variable, one integer type variable x, and one pointer type variable of integer data type, which is ptr. We have declared two float type variable p and q. Now to variable a we are assigning character a. We are assigning x is equal to 125, and when we want to assign the value to pointer type variable, then pointer type variable only accept the address of variable, not the value of variable. If we have to assign the value to pointer type variable, then different syntax is used. So to store the address of particular variable into the pointer type variable, this syntax is used. We have to write first pointer variable name, which is here ptr, is equal to ampersand sign and then variable of which we want to store the address into the pointer type variable. So here it is x. So we have written ptr is equal to ampersand means address of x. Now we are also assigning values to p and q. After that there are some printf statements which are printing the address and value of particular variable. Here we are printing C is stored at address %u. %u is used to specify the address type. So we want to print the address of A, then we have to write here %u. In second statement we are printing the value and address of X. In third statement we are printing address of X using pointer. So we have written X is stored at %u and we are getting that address from pointer variable which is here ptr. Similarly, we are also printing the value of P and Q variable and address of that P and Q. Now let's run the program and see the output. As we can see, the output has printed A is stored at address which is 2293575. B means 125 is stored at address 2293568 and X which contains the address of B stores at 2293568. Means this address is same because it is the same variable. So this way we can use the pointer to store the variable's address. Thank you. Welcome friends. In this video tutorial we will understand program of file operation from ANSYS C Programming E. Balaguruswamy. So until now we have learned lots of programs which explain various functionalities of C programming. Now we are getting advanced in the C programming. So this program shows the use of file operation in which we will open one file and we will print the content of the file on the screen. So to handle the file operation we have first created file data type variable which is fopen, and fopen is a one type of function to open the file, and we have created fp which is the file pointer variable. To get the character from the file we have taken also one variable which is C. Now to open the file fopen function is used. We can open the file in various mode: read mode, write mode and append mode. These are the various modes to open the file. Now in fopen function we have to pass two parameters. First parameter is the file name with its extension. We want to show the contents of our previous program which is pointer.c, and we want to open that file in read mode. Fopen function will return file pointer which we will store in fp which is our file type variable. Now using the file pointer we can get the content of file. So we are using getC function and we are passing file pointer to check file is at end or not. So if file is not at end then it will return 1, else it will return 0. So here we are checking condition if C is not equal to end of file. If this condition becomes true then while loop will run. Using the put character function we will display the content of file onto the screen. So put character function is used to print the character onto the screen, and again we will get character from the file pointer using getC function. At the end we are closing file using fclose function and we have to pass fp which is the file pointer. So this is the program of accessing file in read mode. Now let's run and see what output is produced. As we can see, the complete program of pointer.c is printed. So this way we can open the file in read mode and access the content of that file. Thank you.